Happy Tuesday if you're watching this today that I upload this. You want to come up? This is my dog. His name is Henry. Very cute, right? Hopefully you subscribe now that you've seen a dog. I know that that's kind of how this works these days. Hope your Tuesday has been going well so far. I know mine kind of hasn't. This morning while I was making myself a bagel, I was cutting the bagel in half like this. While I was trying to do so, I sliced open my finger. Sorry, didn't mean to flip you off. It's not gonna focus, but on this finger, I like literally sliced it open and blood was splurting everywhere. It was absolutely tragic. Ever since then, my day has just been going downhill. It's just been rough, okay? But the bagel was good once I ate it. You know, the blood, it added a little bit of flavor to it, so it was okay. I thought today would be fun if I told some of my childhood stories. Embarrassing, cringe, funny, embarrassing, whatever. Just some of my childhood stories. Most of these are embarrassing, but some of them are just fucking weird. So, okay, the first story is just fucking embarrassing as hell. It was sophomore year, so last year, I was sitting in math class and it was like an independent study period. Like we had the whole period to just work on whatever we wanted, basically. I was sitting with my headphones in, working on a math packet, being a good student, you know, studious. I was doing my work and I was listening to some fucking boppin' ass tunes. I don't even remember what I was listening to, but all I know is it was good. All of a sudden, I'd been sitting there listening to my music super loud in my ears for like at least 15-20 minutes, and I kind of like feel eyes on me, and you know that feeling, especially in class. That's like the last thing you want to deal with. I feel eyes on me, and I look up, and I have my headphones in so I can't hear anything, and I look around and everyone in the class is looking at me, and I was like, the fuck? Like, I'm just sitting here listening to my music, everybody else is doing the same. Like, I don't know why we're having a problem here. So I take out my headphones, I'm like, did something happen? And everyone's just laughing, like kind of like chuckling at me, and I'm like, oh my god, what, you know? Someone in the class was like, oh, you've been humming really loudly for like 15 minutes. At that moment, my world was shattered. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed just thinking about it. I had been subconsciously humming to the music that I was listening to so loudly in my ears for like 15 minutes, and I just had no clue. I hope that like you understand how embarrassing that is, because I was so embarrassed for like 3 days afterwards. Like I just couldn't stop thinking about it because that's just so bad. Oh god, it's like painful. We need to move on. I literally can't talk about it anymore. Okay, next story. Okay, so I did competitive cheer for a while there, and I was super in it. Like I was super into it. I really loved it, and I wanted to get better, you know? I was on the grind. One of the main aspects of cheer is tumbling, you know, like doing flips and stuff. And so I remember I had like tryouts coming up or something like that for like the next season, because cheer is like year round. So it's like there's literally a 2-week period where you don't have practice, and then you start a new season. There's like, it's all year round. It never ends. During this 2-week period, I was dying to like practice and stuff because I was anxious because I wanted to be ready for tryouts. There's this kind of thing that you can go to called open gym, which is basically where like you pay like $5 or $10 or something, and then you get to tumble as much as you want in the gym. Tumble, stunt, whatever, you can just practice. So my gym personally didn't do open gyms, and so I had been searching everywhere for an open gym. So I was Yelping and I was looking around online, and I found this gymnastics place that did open gyms, and it said online, anyone's welcome. And I was like, oh, dope. I called them up and I was like, hi, like when's your open gym or whatever, like can I come by? And they're like, yeah, like our open gyms are Fridays from 3 to 5 or whatever, anyone's welcome or whatever. Friday rolls around and I'm ready to go to this open gym, right? I'm excited because I need to tumble. I roll on over there like no one's business. I walk in and I look around and there's a bunch of moms, and I'm like, okay, whatever, maybe like a class just ended. I don't know, there's like a birthday party or something at the gym and like everybody's leaving before open gym starts or something. I was like, okay. So I'm like waiting around and the moms are sticking around and the babies, there's babies everywhere. All of a sudden I realize, I'm like, okay, so all these moms have kids. Okay. So I walk up to the front desk and I give her my $5 and I'm like, oh, like I'm here for the open gym. And she was like, this open gym is like mommy and me open gym, so it's only for like moms and like toddlers under 4 years old. How did I miss that? How did I like not realize that it was a mommy and me open gym for like moms and their kids only? When I called on the phone and like when I looked online, like how did that detail just like skip my head? That's just, I don't know. Okay, moving on. Next story is probably my most embarrassing. In 5th grade, I feel like I might have told this story like on a live stream or something before, so if you've heard it before, I'm sorry, but if you haven't, buckle your seatbelt. So everybody was like required to play an instrument in 5th grade, whether it was like band, orchestra, whatever. So I chose to do orchestra, which was my first mistake, and I played the cello. Okay, I was like maybe 4'6" and like 50 pounds, but I was playing the cello, which is our second mistake, but that's fine. At the end of the year, there's like this big like orchestra show. All the kids come in and we have like a big show for the parents where we all like show what we've been learning all year and stuff like that. And so, you know, me being the cello player, aka the backbone of the orchestra, you know, I was pretty excited for this. That is complete sarcasm. I hated orchestra. I literally quit after 5th grade and never played again. I absolutely did not like it. I literally would like fake play, like I would hover like the bow over the like strings or whatever. I wouldn't actually play is what I'm trying to say. And I'd like let everybody else who's sitting near me like kind of take my job. Anyways, so end of the year, we had this big orchestra show. Of course I'm nervous because I'm like, I suck at orchestra and like we have this huge show. And if I fuck up, I'm screwed. Like that's gonna be so embarrassing. But then not only that, like I actually haven't even played the cello at all this whole year. I've literally been faking it this entire year. But now the parents are coming around and everything. I should really try. You know, we perform. I actually did okay. I did decent, not too bad, you know. So the show's over and at the end, the orchestra teacher said that he was gonna announce awards for like the, you know, most improved, like best overall team player, shit like that. And I'm 100% sure that I will not be receiving one. 100% sure it will not be me. Me and the teacher both know that cello is not for me. So I knew that that was out of the question. And so I was just chilling, you know, in the microphone to all the parents. Okay, sorry. In the microphone, in front of all the parents and everything, he says, I'd like to have all the cello players stand up. And I was like, dope. So I stand up. But I look around and I'm like, guys, why aren't you guys standing up? And then I look in front of me and I see one other girl standing up who's also a cello player, but we were the only 2 people standing up. And I looked to the kid to my right who also plays cello and I was like, why aren't you standing up? It's all the cello players stand up. He's like, Emma, sit down. I'm like, what? So I sit down and I'm like, wait, what's the issue here? Like, he said all cello players stand up. I was standing up. You're the one who's in the wrong here. You should have stood up too, you know? He's like, no, Emma. He was announcing the winner of most improved and he called blank's name and told her to stand up. I don't know where you heard all the cello players stand up. He was just awarding this one girl for most improved. So, okay, if that didn't make any sense to you, basically what happened was, in short, he awarded some girl most improved. I accidentally stood up with her and the entire school and all the parents were so confused as to why I was standing up while this other girl was supposed to be getting the award. It was quite confusing and upsetting. This next story happened in about 4th grade. I don't remember. This isn't even embarrassing. This is just weird as hell. So me and my dad used to go to the library all the time. He would like pick up books and I would like look at magazines and books, rarely books because I don't like reading. Also, it was at the time when I had an iPod Touch. I don't think anybody's used an iPod Touch since like 2007, so like I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So I had an iPod Touch and obviously to use an iPod Touch and to use like apps and the internet and stuff you need Wi-Fi. And the library had Wi-Fi, but at the time my house didn't even have Wi-Fi, which is weird to think. I went to the library almost every night with my dad. So one day on the way to the library, me and my dad walked there. My dad like stopped me. He points over to a house. He's like, look. And I look on the ground and lo and behold, there is a crab like this big, like a mini little crab just sitting on this person's front lawn. And my dad is a lover of animals for sure. And so he was like, we can't just let this crab stay here and die. It's doomed if we don't save it. So my dad was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the crab with us to the library, do our normal library routine, and then after we're done with the library, we'll take it to the ocean or something and let it free. My dad was carrying a little like tote bag sort of thing with all of his books that he needed to return in it, and he decided to just put the crab in the bag. And we go to the library. I'm looking at the magazines and my dad's like in another area of the library, and all of a sudden my dad comes up to me, which never used to happen. We would just end up meeting up later. It was never big, but he runs to the kids section and finds me and like very nervous and like anxious, and I'm like, what's up? What's going on? He's like, Emma, I lost the crab. And I was like, what do you mean you lost the crab? He was like, when I put my book down, it escaped. This is so weird. Okay. It left the bag somehow. I don't know. It's not in my bag anymore. And I was like, well, we have to fucking find the crab. It's running loose in the library. At the front of the library, there's this huge counter with a bunch of librarians like lined up, basically checking out people's books. After looking for like literally 15 minutes, we glance over at that front counter thing with all the librarians, a bunch of people waiting in line, and nuzzled up against the counter was the little crab. There's people everywhere, and it's just kind of pressed up against the freaking counter. How do you even explain this to someone if they see what's going on here? Okay, imagine imagine a dad and his daughter walking up to the front, cutting everyone in line, pushing everyone out of the way to pick up a crab off the ground and then runs out of the store. That's a little bit weird, but we're like, do you know what? This is our only option here. We're not just gonna leave the crab here in the freaking library. My dad runs to the front of the library, slyly picks up the crab, shoves it in the bag, and we leave. No one actually saw the crab, as far as we know, but it was pretty wild. What an experience of a lifetime. Anyway, long story short, we let it free in the ocean and it's probably doing great. It probably has a family now. If it's watching this right now, I hope you and the kids are doing well. I miss you and I'm glad that I saved your life. Okay, so next I'm gonna talk about one of the crushes that I had in like elementary school, I think. So I had a really big crush on this kid. I'm not gonna obviously say his name because I don't want to expose him. He was just this cute little tan kid, you know. I had a crush on him. I don't know what else to say about it, but I was like obsessed with him for sure. And I was in love with him from like kindergarten to like 4th grade and it never ended. I don't think the feeling was mutual, but what can you do? His family was from Hawaii and he was so cute. So he's like a surfer, you know, his whole house was like decked out with like kind of beachy stuff. You know, he had like some beachy house decor. I thought that was pretty cool. I used to have these pants that were the brand Roxy. You guys probably know what the brand Roxy is. It's like a surfer brand. And I had like one pair of pants from there and I was obsessed with these pants. They were like capris that like got tight at the end. I think this was either in 1st or 2nd grade. I thought it'd be a good idea to wear these Roxy pants to school to impress my beachy surfer friend slash crush. We'll call him Christopher. I don't know why I chose that name, but anyways. I was ready to freaking finesse this kid with my Roxy pants at school the next day. And I normally didn't wear these to school for some reason, so like they've never been seen before. I was ready for the big debut. So I wear these pants to school and I am just being the most extra I can be, trying to like make him notice that I'm wearing Roxy pants. You know, he always wore Quicksilver, which is the brother brand to Roxy, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm pretty sure they're like connected. Like, Quicksilver is like the boy version of Roxy. So he always wore that brand. So like, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm about to finesse him right now. Like, he's gonna think I'm so dope. The whole day goes by. I'm just trying to like fucking rub my pants in his face. I'm like, you know, putting my leg all close to his head and shit. No, I'm just kidding. But like, I want him to notice my pants. The end of the day rolls around. It's like the last hour of school and I'm like, this bitch has not noticed my pants yet. And like, I'm pissed. So I decide that, you know what, I'm just gonna be blunt with him and I'm just gonna tell him. Check out my fucking pants, bro. You're gonna like this. And you're gonna like me after this. So I'm like, yo, like, Christopher, check out my pants. Roxy, you know, beachy brand, surfer girl, that's me. Oh god, it's so embarrassing. I was like, aren't these pants dope? And like, do you like me yet? Like, are we like soulmates or what? He said nothing. His eyes just got super big and he just like walked away. I scared him away, you know? A few weeks later, I was sitting next to him in class and we had like a story time. We basically used to have this thing where like people from the community would like come in and read us books. Like a firefighter, policeman, librarian, somebody would like come in once a week and like read us a cool story that like related to their profession, if that makes sense. So we had that like every Friday. So it was Friday, a few weeks after this whole Roxy pant incident happened. I'm sitting next to him because of course you best believe I shove all the bitches out of the way and I sit next to his ass because, you know, got a crush, like gotta like be close to him at all times, obviously. I'm a freaky bitch, you know? You know, we were sitting on the rug in the front of the class listening to the teacher. I look over and I see him picking his nose. Do you know what? In about 1st or 2nd grade, that wasn't too out of whack. You know, that's pretty expected. Nose picking was something that was the norm. You know, we were all used to it. So I wasn't really too fazed. I ended up seeing him, you know, picking his nose and then putting it on a block. Like, you know, a building block. Like he just like wiped it onto a building block and then like put it back into the pile. I don't know. Something about that kind of traumatized me and our relationship was never the same. I still had crushes on him for like the next 2.5 years but it just wasn't the same. Once you see something like that, you know, you're kind of scarred for life. So the crush kind of lessened after that and I realized, you know what? He might not like your Roxy pants, but you've seen him put his booger on a block. So it's kind of even. Last but not least, we're gonna be talking about me basically just being a pussy. This was also in elementary school. So it was crazy hat day at school where we would all come in and wear crazy hats. I used to really go all out when it was spirit days and I would really just deck my shit out. I wouldn't hold back, you know? I would like go to the store and like specifically buy things for spirit days and spirit weeks. Like I was into it. You can only imagine there was a lot on the line. I wanted to live up to my other spirit day standards. Me and my mom go to Target or the dollar store or something like that and just pick out a top hat and then buy a bunch of random shit to hot glue onto that hat. So I bought this bright gold top hat and I glued a bunch of shit all over it. We spent hours on this hat and it was dope. It had like puff balls on it, it had like glitter on it, it had googly eyes on it, it had pipe cleaners on it, it had shit shit all over it. It was wet. But to make the hat 10 times better, I was like, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hot glue a rubber ducky on top of the hat just to top it all off. I stroll into school. I'm proud of this shit. Me and my mom worked so hard on it, and I was really emotionally attached to this hat. I stroll into school and I'm feeling like a savage. I am getting endless amounts of attention for this hat. I mean, people are just Googling eyes over it. And of course I was like, yeah, bitch, this is my fucking hat. Fuck off, you know what I mean? I was in love with it. I loved the attention. But some of the rowdy boys in my class started to get a little bit out of hand. They were so obsessed with this hat, they just could not get their hands off of it. They kept touching it and like trying to like pull things off of it and stuff, and I was getting #pissed because I was like, yeah, I just spent like an hour and a half on this hat and you are getting your grimy ass, booger picking ass hands on it, and I'm not happy about it. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep my cool. It's fine. It's whatever. All of a sudden, some bitch ass boy has the nerve to pull the rubber ducky off the top of the hat. Now that, my friend, was the final straw. I burst into tears. I was bawling about this. I was so upset. I spent hours on this hat, and you have the nerve to come up here and take the rubber ducky off like you own the place? No, 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 honey. That's not how it works. I was furious. So for the rest of the day, I cried. I did not stop crying. I didn't go out for recess. I didn't do anything. And eventually I had to go home because I was so upset that that kid took the rubber ducky off the top of my hat that I literally had to go home. I don't know. It was really emotional for me. You know what? I'm a sensitive kid, okay? I have been forever, and so that's just an example of that. So I think that that's it for my story times. But yeah, I had fun. If you want more story times in the future, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and comment down below anything that you want. I love you all, appreciate you all, and I cannot wait to see you next time.